Hi everyone, here we are at the Killingly Public Library again, having more fun with plants. Today we'll look into general houseplant maintenance. These are the things that you'll be doing so your plants won't have to go to houseplant rehab, which is a topic that we discussed before. I have a little list here. These are the things that I think you'll have to take care of your houseplants. You have to have water, humidity, that's one, light, soil, food, and grooming. We're going to start with water because I think that's what most people think about when they're taking care of their plants, is the watering part of it is what's kind of hard to determine how much to put into your plant. First I want to show you how a plant should be watered, most plants anyway. When you water your plants, you should put it in enough so that the water comes out the bottom of the pot. Don't just put a little on the top. You should water less frequently, but with more water. See if we can get this to come out the bottom drain holes. There it is. So that's how you should be watering your plants. Don't let it sit in the water for too long. Oops. And if you really want to pamper your plants, use room temperature water. Some plants like African violets, more sensitive plants, like to have lukewarm water. If you don't give them the warmer water, they'll still survive. Another thing about humidity and water, use a little spray bottle for your plants that need extra humidity. And there's a little trick that I learned. If your plant starts to wilt because you've forgotten to water, you can water it and then spritz the leaves also. It will absorb the water through the leaves and it will really perk up a lot faster. This plant this is a peace lily. It has brown tips on it. And when you want to figure out what's wrong with your plant, you can go to a nice book like this one that we have at the library. This is the Complete Houseplants Survival Manual, Essential Know-How for Keeping, Not Killing, More Than 160 Plants. So I'm going to look in here to see what it says about the brown tips. Leaf tips are brown, stems droop. Cause: over-fertilization and or overwatering. I went online and I found over-fertilization, mineral buildup, overwatering, underwatering, pests, temperature, low humidity. And they also said, well, maybe you should be using bottled water on your plants. But I'm not pampering my plants. The other plants at the library can do well on the water that comes from the faucet. This one should too. Because I know that this plant is not out in the brightly lit sun area like here, I think it's not getting enough humidity. I know it's not over-fertilized. I know it's not overwatered or underwatered. I know it doesn't have any pests. So, in order to give it a little more humidity, I'll put some gravel in the bottom of its saucer. Put a little water in there. And the pot will rest up on top of the gravel, and the water will evaporate and create like a nice little humid atmosphere for this plant. If you have lots of plants, you could get a big tray, fill it with gravel, keep some water in there, and you create almost a mini greenhouse effect. So I think that's all I have on water. Next is light. Different plants require different amounts of light and different intensities and different times, hours during the day of light. So do a little research on the plants that you have and make sure you give them the proper light. One of the things that's important is when I water the plants once a week, I give them a 1/4 turn. This way they grow nice and evenly because plants will grow towards the light. Next thing is the room temperature. Luckily, houseplants like the same temperature that we do. Some want a little cooler, some want a little warmer, but you can research that. And most of them will just do just fine. Lots of them like a little cooler temperature at night, but most of our homes are cooler at night anyway. Next is soil. Just make sure that your plant is in the proper soil. I recommend buying a regular purchased potting mix. They have ones for cactuses, they have ones for African violets, and general purpose potting soil. After a while, you might need to change the soil out to remove lots of buildup from minerals from your fertilizing, but usually plants do quite fine if you have the right soil for them. Then we have to feed our plants. There's I know of basically 3 different kinds of plant food. The liquid plant food, there's a granular plant food, and then there's like a powdery one that you mix in with water. They come in different strengths, they come in different, what would you say, the nutrition in it. So you could balance out your potassium, your nitrogen, and potash is the other one. They sell African violet fertilizer, they sell balanced fertilizer, orchid fertilizer. Just get what's good for your plant. And fertilize only during the growing season, which around here, these plants in the library, I usually fertilize them from April until around November. They need to rest in the winter time. And you can learn all about your fertilizers from your fertilizer container. Some of them you can mix at a high strength and will fertilize once a month. Some you can mix the same material at a lower strength and fertilize every time you water. I'm a lazy gardener, so I use this granular fertilizer here at the library. Just sprinkle it on once a month, and as you water, the nutrients will go down into your plant. Okay, grooming, the last thing. When you have your plants that get out of control, they can get a little tall, or they can have a few little dead leaves. It's important to remove the dead parts, not just for aesthetics. If you leave dead parts on your plant, you're just inviting diseases and mold and mildew and pests. Your plants will be a lot happier if they're nicely groomed, and they'll look better too. So these 3 plants are the exact same age. They were planted at the exact same time, and they were the exact same size when they were planted. Can you see the difference? It's just because of the pot size. If you have a small pot, your plant won't be able to grow. If you have a big pot, it'll go much bigger, and the medium-sized pot will give you a medium-sized plant. This is kind of like the bonsai of the library here. So this plant, I'm going to just chop off the top of it. Pretty soon it will topple over. Let's see. It's easier said than done. Okay. I know it looks ugly, but every time you take a piece off your plant, this is a home movie, you know. It'll encourage it to get bushy. And also, you should pluck off your spent blossoms too. That'll encourage new growth. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to use it in a future talk about plant propagation. So we'll put this aside. There's a plant out there for everyone. If you want to have plants, just figure out what your plant personality is, what your environment can provide for your plants, and you'll do just fine. This is a lovely little narcissus. Isn't it cute? This is an artificial plant. Excellent. Low maintenance. All you have to do is dust it once in a while. Hope you had fun. Bye-bye.